What really happened after the concert ended? When the stage lights had gone out, the ARMY cheers started to go away, and everyone thought Jungkook had gone back to rest. But it was precisely at that moment that something unexpected happened. Many do not know, after a night full of energy and laughter, Jungkook did not immediately go with the staff as usual. There is a brief moment, almost imperceptible, when he walks slowly alone, as if carrying a weight that he never shows in front of the camera. Soldiers who were still around the venue began to wonder, why does Jungkook look so quiet? Why is the expression different? And the most surprising thing, why did BTS's V end up looking speechless when he found out what Jungkook was doing secretly? A source who saw the moment said Jungkook paused for a while, staring at the empty seats filled with thousands of voices. There was no big smile, as usual, just a deep look, as if he was remembering something bigger than the concert itself. Some ARMY began to speculate. Is Jungkook preparing emotionally before the world tour? Or is there something he's hiding? Something he's not even ready to share with anyone? What made the atmosphere even more thrilling was Taehyung's reaction. V, who is known to be always calm, reportedly fell silent for quite some time after hearing what Jungkook did that night. He didn't speak right away. His eyes just stared blankly, like someone who had just realized how deeply his best friend felt. And this is where the ARMY begins to take a hit, because that little stunt felt like a sign that Jungkook was enduring something alone. Some say he left a personal message for himself before the tour began. Some believe Jungkook is trying to toughen up because a world tour isn't just about the big stage, it's also about the tremendous pressure. But one thing is for sure, the silent moment was not just a coincidence. It was a rarely seen emotional cut from Jungkook, someone who always tries to appear strong for the sake of ARMY. And when BTS got speechless, the ARMY could not hold back the tears. Because if only Jungkook had to stand in silence before this great journey. And what made this situation shake ARMY's heart even more was the fact that Jungkook never explained anything directly. There is no official statement, and long uploads, and dramatic words, just a small act. Yet it felt like an unspoken emotional scream. Some observant fans began to recall how Jungkook has often been more reserved lately. The smile remained, the laughter was still heard, but something was different. It was as if he was preparing himself for something much heavier than just the next concert. The world tour does sound grand, but for idols like Jungkook, a world tour also means leaving comfort behind, facing endless schedules, immense pressure, and an ever-piling-up sense of longing. And maybe, that night, after the concert ended, Jungkook finally let himself feel it all in silence. The ARMY began to wonder, is Jungkook emotionally exhausted? Are you afraid that you won't be able to meet expectations? Or is it that he is harboring something deeper, something that he is not ready to reveal even to the other members? The most touching thing was how Taehyung reacted. According to some people around, V was able to approach Jungkook after finding out what happened. But not with long words. No dramatic hugs in front of the camera, just a look, an understanding look, like two best friends who don't need to talk much to know that a small wound is being hidden. And that's where the ARMY was completely destroyed, because if two people as strong as Jungkook and Taehyung can be silent like that, it means there's a big emotion that they're holding back. Social media was immediately filled with comments. I feel like Jungkook is enduring too much. Why do I feel like this is a sign? Taehyung to speechless. This must be serious. And the more people talk about it, the more it seems that this moment is not just an ordinary action. It's like a message without sound, as Jungkook would like to say. I will go far, but I am also human. And that's probably what made the ARMY cry the most. Not because there's bad news, but because they see Jungkook's most fragile side, a side he rarely showed. Now all eyes are on the upcoming world tour. Will Jungkook ever shine again? Or will this journey open up a never-before-seen emotional side of BTS? One thing is clear, what did Jungkook do secretly that night? Not the end, it was the beginning of something much bigger. And as the days passed, the curiosity of the ARMY became even more so, because no one can really forget that moment. The moment when Jungkook, who was always seen excitedly on stage, suddenly chose silence alone after everything was over. If the concert was not just a performance, but a temporary breakup that feels too emotional. Some ARMY began to attribute everything to the little things that were previously taken for granted. Jungkook's slightly longer gaze toward the audience, he said, "Thank you," in a low-voiced, a visible smile. But his eyes seemed to be harboring something. And the most heart-wrenching, some said Jungkook took a deep breath, like someone holding back tears, before finally walking away, and no one knows for sure what's on his mind. But it's the ignorance that makes it all so painful. The ARMY knows Jungkook has always been a person who bears a lot on his own. He rarely complains. They rarely show weakness. He prefers to smile, work hard, and make sure everyone is happy. But that night, the mask is like a little crack, and Taehyung saw it. The who is usually full of jokes is actually the quietest. Many felt that, as a close friend, Taehyung probably understood more than anyone. Maybe he knows what Jungkook is hiding. Maybe he knew how hard this trip was for Jungkook. And maybe that's the reason he didn't say anything, because sometimes words are not enough. On the other hand, the ARMY was beginning to feel fear, not afraid the world tour will fail, but fear that Jungkook was pushing himself too hard. Fear that behind all the highlights, there is an invisible feeling of fatigue, afraid that the silent action was Jungkook's way of saying something silently, a message that can only be felt, not heard. And if true, then this world tour is not just about music. It's about emotional struggle. It's about courage, about a Jungkook who stays on stage. Even though there may be a storm inside him, the ARMY can only hope for one thing. I hope Jungkook is not alone. Hopefully Taehyung and the other BTS members will be by his side. And may this world tour bring happiness, not a new wound, because one thing has been clear since that night. Jungkook's little act after the concert has made the whole world aware that even a golden magne has a fragile side that he has kept in silence.